until this officially starts. But I wanted to go ahead and jump in, introduce myself, and say hello to all the folks who are in here for the first time. My name is Mary Mays. I'm a meteorologist, and I'm a meteorologist at Weather and Radar, which is your one-stop shop for all the weather info you need. We've got a weather app that's really easy to understand and to use, more importantly, but also what we have is a lot of information. We write forecasts for you, we do these lives, we get on social media, and we also send you alerts to your phone, and it's always people that are, making these decisions. So it's trained meteorologists doing all this, and I think that makes this a little different than a lot of other weather apps. Since it is 4 o'clock Central Time, which is what I'm in, I am going to go ahead and check and make sure that my audio is working properly. And it is! There have been quite a few times where it was not. So I like to double check and see what's going on. So what you're seeing right now is actually what we call our weather radar. And in the blue, it shows rain. In that pink shade, that is the heavy snow falling in the Sierras. And we actually have something called an atmospheric river moving into California right now, or really is already there. It's just a ton of moisture. And some spots are looking at, through Tuesday, almost a year's worth of rain, which is incredible. Just how much rain we're seeing with this system, how much heavy snow we're seeing with this system. And the wind is a huge story today as well. So let's start off talking about who's seeing the rain and what it's going to look like for the rest of today. So you can see where the low pressure is. It's right about here, kind of spinning, but all of this moisture just being directed right into California, especially Southern California, into the Los Angeles area, these, high population density areas with a lot of pavement, which a lot of times can end up with water piling up. You get a downpour in LA and a storm drain gets clogged and suddenly the whole street's flooded. And that's not unusual to happen with these events. And this event is definitely kind of on a higher level than most atmospheric rivers. So let's talk about the timing for this. You can see very heavy snow in the mountains and rain in the foothills and in the valleys and a little bit lower. So here's the remainder of today. Also, some thunderstorms are definitely going to be possible along the coast. So as we head into tomorrow, you really see that rain continuing over a lot of the same spots. And I want to point out a lot of this heavy rain stays in Southern California, especially in the Los Angeles metro area. That's something important to keep in mind, especially if you live in Los Angeles, because the threat for flooding is quite high there. And as we head into the rest of today and into tomorrow, you do see that rain just continuing, and the mountain snow continues as well. And we see this event happening all the way into Tuesday. It's still quite stormy, quite active. Things will start to improve a little bit Tuesday, but really this event is lasting through Tuesday. The flood threat's lasting through Tuesday, and you keep the wind around, the threat of landslides, life-threatening flooding is our biggest concern right now, but the wind is definitely causing some issues, power outages, all of that's happening right now. And it's going to keep going through tomorrow. I would say through tomorrow, through the end of Monday, that's the worst of it. So today, the rest of today, into the end of tomorrow. Now, here's your excessive rainfall outlook, and we do have this actually on our website as well if you want to get a closer look at our graphics. I wanted to show you kind of zoom in here on Los Angeles and Santa Barbara and Long Beach. This is what we call high risk. That is the highest risk for excessive rainfall. And basically that means that there's a really good chance you're going to see flash flooding within 25 miles of a point. That means a 70% chance that you'll see flash flooding within 25 miles of anywhere you're at in the LA area up through Santa Barbara. That is just a really high risk of flooding, and these high risk days is when 40% of fatalities occur, and it's where 80% of flood damage to properties occurs. So it's a big deal to have a high risk. I think this only accounts for 5% of risk days in any given year, so they're quite rare. And then you have a moderate risk that stretches along the coast all the way up into the southern part of the Bay Area. And then you have a slight risk, which is level 2 out of 5 up through San Francisco proper, into Sacramento, really up into the foothills, and kind of up into the mountains, into the Sierra Nevada range. So that's for the rest of today. The high risk is also in place tomorrow for just LA, the Los Angeles metro. And this includes, areas a little bit further into even the Angeles National Forest, San Bernardino. These areas are also under that high risk, but you have a moderate risk stretching all the way down into San Diego. So San Diego likely going to get in on the flooding action as well. And then the slight risk kind of stretches up a little bit further inland, even reaches into Nevada. So that's a big deal. 2 high risk days in a row in California, a very rare event, and it just goes to show, especially for the Los Angeles metro, how serious this is. If you are driving and you see water, turn around. Do not drive through it, because right now this flooding could be very dangerous. It could be life-threatening, and I'm hoping for the best, but these events sometimes lead to sad things happening, and I don't want to see that. So if you don't know how deep the water is, obviously turn around. Also, it doesn't take that much water to stall your car out or even pick your car up and float it away. And, emergency responders are going to be busy because there's likely going to be a significant amount of flooding. Also, too, if you live in the mountain ranges near LA, and you're in a landslide prone area, if you're on, any burn scars, also anywhere in California, but if you're in a landslide area, just keep an eye out and watch for evacuations. Make sure you have your, go pack ready to go, and, you're able to get out if you need to, because evacuations can't be ruled out, especially in areas with more unstable slopes. And the folks that live in these areas tend to know a little bit more about it. They tend to know, oh, I'm in this spot. As we head into Tuesday, you're still looking at a flood threat. It's a slight risk of flash flooding basically from LA to San Diego, but that's still in place, and you see a lot of that rain kind of pushing east into Phoenix. This is a slow moving system. I'll show it to you again. Here's what's happening right now, and you can just see that heavy rain. Santa Barbara into Los Angeles, Fresno, San Francisco, and we walk you through the rest of today, and it's really Southern California getting, up to a foot of rain in some spots in the hills, in the foothills. That is just insane to me. But, a few more inches on the way in LA and San Diego. This is just a ton of rain. Same thing in Sacramento, San Francisco. And then as we head into your Tuesday, it's still going. Into your Monday and into your Tuesday, it's still going. So we finally start to see this improving, though, by Wednesday. But this is just a ton of rain. And even as the system moves out, you still get more moisture heading our way as we head into the middle part of the week. But this will be a little bit further north. So Southern California can breathe a sigh of relief for a little bit. And the other thing I want to talk about is just the wind. So here are our current wind gusts. We have had wind gusts, hurricane force winds at times already, gusting up to 80 plus miles an hour along the California coastline. That is just incredible. And here's something I want to show you. So our National Weather Service maps, you see this little area in red right off of Monterey? That is a hurricane force wind warning in California, in coastal California. So that's right off the coast of Monterey. And then you see these high wind warnings, wind advisories. It's just incredible wind. So these are gusts right now. And, it's not too bad in Los Angeles currently. It's 25 miles an hour, but you go up to Oxnard, you go to Santa Barbara. It's 40 mile per hour in Oxnard. This is current wind gusts. 50 in Santa Barbara, 55 in Santa Maria, and you get a little closer into the peaks and, spots like Fraser Park, 60 miles per hour. This pink here is indicating even higher than that, probably 70, 80 miles an hour the further up in elevation you go. And this is all the way up to the Bay Area. You're seeing wind gusts in San Jose at 50 miles an hour, 45 in San Francisco, and this is where the center of the low is. So you're seeing all of this gusty wind kind of whipping onto the coastline. Now, going into the rest of your Sunday, you can see some of that highest wind gust kind of pushing into northern California. Even into tomorrow morning, you're seeing like 50 plus mile an hour winds overnight in Eureka. And this is likely going to cause even more power outages. Speaking of, we have a ton of power outages in California, 242,000 customers. That's, a customer is a business, a home, 242,000 customers without electricity right now. That is ridiculous. And you can see a lot of this is in San Luis Obispo, almost 30,000 out in that county. You go up to Monterey, 32,000 out. That's where, just offshore here, that's where that hurricane force wind has been blowing, that hurricane force wind uh, advisory. Santa Barbara, 10,000 out. Let's see, Los Angeles County, not too bad, only 2,000 out right now. You go up to, even in toward the Bay Area, Santa Clara, 20,000. We have a ton. Napa got quite a few, 11,000, almost 12,000. Solano, 18,000. That's a lot of customers without power. This number keeps growing. I think in the last hour, they've added tens of thousands. I think it was 120,000 without power a couple of hours ago, and now we're at 242. So this map, it's going to keep showing those power outages just getting more numerous. This is not going to get better. We're really at the start of this system. So we've got 2 high-risk days of flash flooding in a row. LA Metro is the bullseye for this heavy rain. In the Sierra Nevada, we're picking up to an additional 4 feet of snow at the peaks. And if you're trying to travel at pass level, there's snow chain controls. You're not going to be able to travel to some spots for a little bit. We've got road closures. It's a big old mess. If you're traveling anywhere in California, you need to check conditions before you head out. Get into, the Department of Transportation. Make sure you're checking your route, and checking your route also with our weather radar. Look at, where the rain's happening right now. You can look at current conditions. This is right now. This is up to the minute. And you can also get this on your phone. You don't have to look at a computer screen. When you have it, a free app, you just download it. It's that easy. And I use it all the time for rain. But basically, you just look at where you're going and you make sure that, conditions are okay for you to be driving. And in the case of a lot of folks in California, they're not going to be. But, this is what the app looks like. And I hope you can see this actually. It's kind of hard to see because I'm probably just a little circle. There we go. I am just a little circle. I had to check my view here. But that's what it looks like, and it's great. And you can get it at weatherandradarr.com. But this shows you that we also send alerts to your phone whenever you need them, whenever it's important. So you always know what's going on. And we have the forecast written out if you prefer to read, or, you wake up tomorrow morning and you want to know what's going on. We'll have that update ready for you. It'll be the first thing we do to make sure that you have the latest information. And the other thing we have is Jonathan Petramala, who is our weather reporter. He's actually out in California right now. And what he's doing is keeping an eye on things. And this is in Grapevine. And semi trucks are being tipped over by this wind because it's this hurricane force winds. And, there's the tumbleweeds, which is kind of fun to look at. But the wind has just been so incredible. And we're getting rain on top of the wind, snow on top of the mountains. There's Jonathan right there. I have this on mute because you can watch this actually on our social media if you want to see the full thing. And we're going to have it embedded also in our articles throughout the next couple of days. So you can see what's going on out in the field as well. Jonathan's going to be out there taking care of things. But he was dealing with this wind and it was incredible seeing that, because Jonathan is, he's such a pro. He doesn't get flustered. But when you see that wind whipping, oh my goodness, I would not be as calm as he is. I've been out in the field plenty of times, but Jonathan's just next level. He's so good at, talking. My hair would be in my face. Anyway, so if you prefer to read, here it is. Look at impacts. We have this all kind of laid out for you. So 14 inches across the foothill, so more than a foot. 4 to 8 inches along the coast within the next 24 hours. And some folks could see a foot of rain from western Los Angeles County to Santa Barbara County. So these are all the details you need to stay safe during this event. This is just so much going on, and I want to make sure that you know what's ahead. And there are alerts all over the place. This is just a big, huge deal. High risk days, not something we see often. Here it is for today, and then you see it for tomorrow as well, that excessive risk, that high risk for excessive rainfall. Now, there are some benefits to what's happening. We are getting snow in the Sierra. An additional 4 feet is going to do some good for, the reservoirs later in the year. And you want to see mountain snow with these systems because the snow during spring and summer melts slowly and fills up the reservoirs. We haven't had as much snow as we typically would see this time of year, or year to date, I should say. We've been in what they call a snow drought. So while there's been plenty of moisture in California, it's not falling in the form of snow, which we do need. So this is one benefit. It's not necessarily going to be fun trying to travel through that, but I think folks up there in areas like Truckee and Donner Pass, they know what's going on up in the Sierra. But chain controls and probably some road closures is what we're dealing with that additional up to 4 feet at the highest peaks of, really 6,000 feet and up. But it's just a lot going on with this system, and it is incredible. But you could just sit here and watch it. You see that big low pressure churning. You see all of that moisture coming in. And once again, life-threatening flash flooding happening now, occurring into tonight, into tomorrow, especially in that Los Angeles metro where a ton of people live. So please stay weather aware, stay alert, download the Weather and Radar app if you haven't already. And thank you guys so much for joining in. Feel free to subscribe to this YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. There's links in the description. I really appreciate you sticking with me for these last few minutes as I talk about what's going on with the wind, the rain, the flooding threat, the snow, because there's so many different elements to this system. Real quick also before we leave, people at the beach, this is not a good day to be at the beach because those waves are huge and they can sneak up on you. They get some coastal flooding, but also you can be, caught in a wave. And that is incredibly dangerous. It's not a day for swimming. It's not a day for boating. Mariners know a lot about the weather. If you're a boater, I see you. I know. But just a heads up for folks who maybe are more casual when it comes to boating or swimming, that sort of thing, or maybe not from the area, avoid the beaches. It's just not a good day to be trying to get into the water. Also, it's probably pretty cold. It's the Pacific, and it's winter, but that doesn't stop a lot of people, especially surfers. But, just use your common sense. You guys know what to do. And thank you again so much. Please stay safe out there. And, if you got friends or family out in California, tag them. Send this video to them. We want to make sure that everyone knows what's happening. And we'll see you tomorrow. We're going to have those latest updates for you. So thank you so much. Have a wonderful end to your weekend. And please stay safe, my friends. I'll see you.